single house in Tennessee with about 140 animals living inside it. Around 40 dogs packed into every single room, and most of them are tiny Chihuahuas who have barely ever been touched by a human hand. That's not a setup for a movie. That actually happened this spring, and 50 of those little dogs just arrived in Florida to start their lives completely over. Today I want to walk you through what really happens to Chihuahuas after a rescue like this one, because the arrival photo everyone shares online is only the first page of a very long story. By the end of this video, you're going to understand what these dogs came from, what their recovery actually looks like step by step over the first weeks and months, what makes tiny dogs uniquely fragile in these situations, and how you can help, whether or not you ever bring one of them home. If you love small dogs, this is the kind of thing that's genuinely worth understanding, because the more people who get it, the better these dogs do. So let's start with what we actually know, and I'm going to stick to the confirmed reporting here. On May 21st, a team from Tri-County Animal Rescue down in Boca Raton drove all the way up to Tennessee. They were working alongside a group called Animal Rescue Corps, and together they pulled around 50 dogs out of a hoarding situation, with another 30 or so expected to follow in the days after. These weren't dogs being surrendered at a front desk. This was a coordinated mission across multiple states to get them out. And then there was the drive home, roughly 17 hours straight through. I want you to really sit with that for a second. 50 frightened little dogs, a lot of whom had probably never been in a vehicle, never seen the open outdoors, never known what a normal day even feels like, riding through the night toward a place they had no way of understanding yet. By the time they rolled into Boca Raton, those dogs had been through more change in one day than they'd experienced in their whole lives. The conditions they came from were genuinely hard. Responders described waste piled throughout the house and dogs crammed into every room. And these weren't all the same kind of dog either. There were young puppies, there were seniors, and there were several pregnant moms in the group, which adds a whole other layer of urgency that I'll come back to in a minute. A lot of them arrived carrying real medical problems. We're talking respiratory infections, painful dental disease, eye infections, old untreated injuries, skin issues. Several of them went straight to emergency veterinary care basically the moment they got there. So while the rescue itself is a happy headline, the dogs walking off that transport were, in a lot of cases, not okay yet. And here's a detail that really stuck with me, and I think it's important. Reporting indicated that the person who kept all of these dogs had developed dementia. So this isn't some cartoon villain story. Hoarding situations are very often tangled up with a human being who is themselves in crisis, dealing with illness or mental health struggles that spiraled out of control. That doesn't undo the harm to the animals, but it does help explain how something like this happens, and it's part of why these cases are so quietly heartbreaking for everyone involved. Okay, so the dogs are safe now. Everybody likes the arrival post, and then the internet kind of moves on to the next thing. But for the rescue, that arrival is where the real work actually begins. So let me take you through the stages these dogs move through, because almost nobody talks about this part, and it's the part that decides whether a dog like this thrives or struggles. Stage 1, intake and triage. Before anything else, every dog gets sorted by need. The team has to figure out very quickly which dogs are stable and which ones are emergencies. Picture 50 tiny dogs coming off a transport, each one needing to be identified, photographed, given a temporary name, and assessed. Who can wait and who needs a vet in the next hour? With pregnant moms in the mix, some of those moms may be close to giving birth, which instantly bumps them up the priority list. This first sort happens fast, and it sets the tone for everything that follows. Stage 2, medical stabilization. This is usually the longest and most expensive stage, and for hoarding dogs, it's a big one. We're talking full veterinary exams, blood work, and treatment for whatever they came in with. Dental disease is incredibly common in tiny dogs from neglect situations, and it can be severe enough to need extractions, because rotten teeth aren't just painful, they can quietly poison the rest of the body. There's vaccinating, treating parasites, dealing with skin infections, and eventually spaying and neutering once each dog is strong enough to safely handle anesthesia. For a tiny 6-pound dog, even routine surgery carries more risk than it would for a big dog, so the timing has to be careful. None of this happens overnight, and some dogs cycle in and out of the vet for weeks. Stage 3, decompression. This is the part people skip, and honestly, it might be the most important part of all. These are dogs whose nervous systems have never known a calm, predictable home. They've lived in chaos and crowding, and suddenly everything is new. Decompression is a deliberate, low pressure stretch of time where the dog is allowed to just rest, eat, sleep, and observe the world without being constantly handled, passed around, or smothered with affection. A lot of rescues follow a general idea, sometimes called the 3-3-3 rule. Roughly the first 3 days, a dog may be completely overwhelmed and shut down. Around 3 weeks in, they often start settling into a routine and showing a little personality. And by around 3 months, many of them finally feel secure enough to fully relax and act like themselves. For dogs out of a hoarding home, that timeline can stretch even longer, and pushing them to get over it faster usually backfires. Stage 4, gentle socialization. Once a dog has decompressed a bit, the team starts slow, patient introductions, people moving calmly nearby, normal household sounds. The radical idea for some of these dogs, that a human hand reaching toward them is safe and not scary. A lot of this work is done by trained volunteers who know how to read tiny dog body language and, just as importantly, know not to rush it. Forcing contact on a dog that isn't ready can set their progress back by weeks, so good socialization moves at the dog's pace, not the human's. Stage 5, foster placement. A shelter, no matter how good, is still a loud and stressful place for a sensitive little dog. That's where fosters come in. Moving a recovering Chihuahua into a quiet home environment, even temporarily, can do wonders because the dog gets to learn what a normal household actually is. They figure out couches and gentle routines and what it's like when meals show up reliably every single day. Fostering also frees up space at the shelter for the next dog who needs it, which matters a lot when you've just taken in 50 of them. Stage 6, behavioral evaluation and matching. Finally, the team spends time learning who each dog truly is. Are they shy but sweet? Do they bond hard to one person? Are they good with other dogs, or do they need to be the only pet? This is how a rescue matches a specific dog to a specific home instead of just handing them out to anyone. And it's a huge part of why these dogs don't end up right back in the shelter 6 months later. And here's the thing about those pregnant moms I mentioned. When a pregnant dog comes out of a case like this, the rescue isn't just caring for one animal. They're preparing for a whole litter, which means more medical care, more space, and a lot more time before any of them are ready for homes. One rescued mom can quietly turn into 5 or 6 more dogs that need this entire process from scratch. So when you add all of that up, medical care, decompression, socialization, fostering, evaluation, you're looking at weeks or months per dog, multiplied across dozens of dogs. That's the real picture behind one cheerful rescue headline. Now, what can you actually take from all this, even if adopting isn't realistic for you right now? The biggest one is this. When a little dog like this freezes or trembles or growls or disappears under a blanket for 3 straight days, people love to slap the word attitude on it. With a rescue Chihuahua, that behavior is almost always fear, and learning to read it correctly changes everything about how you help them. A scared Chihuahua who growls isn't being a brat. They're asking for space in the only language they have. Give them that space, and trust starts to build. The other big takeaway is patience. A rescue dog does not owe you instant gratitude, and the dogs who hide at first are very often the ones who become the most devoted companions once they feel safe. Slow is not failure. Slow is usually the whole point. If you want to support these specific dogs, go straight to the source. Tri-County Animal Rescue is a no-kill nonprofit, and their official page is the place to find real, current information on adoption, fostering, donations, and volunteering. They've mentioned needing things like cleaning supplies and help socializing the dogs, and volunteers usually complete a short training course first. I'll put their link in the description, and I'll link the original local reporting so you can read the whole story for yourself. And if adopting or fostering just isn't in the cards, you can still genuinely help. Support the small dog rescues in your own community, because every area has Chihuahuas waiting. Share verified rescue updates instead of the unconfirmed stuff that tends to swirl around these stories. Even spreading accurate information is a real contribution. Here's where I land on all of this. Chihuahuas get treated like a joke so often, but the little dogs coming out of this case mostly just need calm and time. A dog who spent years stuck in a crowded room might take weeks to trust one gentle hand, and that small, ordinary bit of progress is honestly a massive victory. Every single one of these tiny survivors who learns that people can be safe is living proof that patient, unglamorous rescue work is worth every hour of it. These dogs were never broken. They simply never got the chance at a normal life until now. And that chance is exactly what this whole long process is fighting to give them. I really want to hear from you in the comments. If you've ever adopted or fostered a scared rescue dog, what was the exact moment you realized they finally felt safe with you? Those stories matter more than you know, because somebody watching this right now is on the fence about fostering, and your story might be the thing that pushes them to say yes. And if you want more Chihuahua rescue stories, tiny dog tips, and real ways to help dogs like these, join the Chi Society Pack for free. The link is down in the description, right next to the full written article on this rescue. Thanks for being here, and go give your little one an extra ear scratch from me today.